How's it going, everybody? The mic might be a little too loud. You guys have to let me know. It's been a while. Oh my gosh. It's been a very long time. How's it going? How do I pronounce your name? Fasando? I'll call you Fasando. Sounds Italian. Fusando. And Taunting Pirate, how you doing? How's everybody doing? Hey, just up. Okay, so what we're going to do today is carry on from the last stream we did. Still working on some breakdowns, and I'll kind of fill you guys on, or in anyway, to what's been going on lately, and all that cool stuff. The lack of streams and all the drama. No, just joking. Yeah, so everything's been going pretty good. I haven't really been working on JESOP King that often, to be honest with you. Excuse me. And the reason for that, there's just been it's nothing major. It doesn't really matter. It just had a little bit of burnout and I guess loss of clarity. Even though I've said a whole bunch of times, I know my intent, and I encourage you guys and you girls to have a goal in mind to whatever you're trying to do. That way, when you get off that path, like I currently am, you remember the map you had when you were on that little journey. And even still, even though I have that, I know exactly what I'm doing here. It is what it is. You're going to get burnout no matter what, from time to time. Not everybody, but some people. What are we gonna draw here with this guy, with this one? Yeah. So other than that, things are going a little bit better. I'm noticing that I'm getting, starting to get the itch. How's it going, Pillowhead? How's it going, Marcello? Marcello, I should say. Getting the itch to draw again, which is good. It's always good to want to draw. But some of the, I guess, the goal, I suppose, I should say, for this anyway, it hasn't changed. But I want things to happen quicker. My impatience is showing through, which is always a surefire thing for stuff that I find anyway to not work out. I'm getting impatient because I really want a job drawing comics, just like pretty much everybody else that's in the room, or some variation of that, right? And I'm just kind of looking at what I've been sending editors and stuff. Hey Christopher, how's it going? Thomas, hey John, new to your stream, enjoy what you're doing. Thanks, buddy, appreciate that. And Taunting is saying we're drawing together. Awesome, perfect. Yeah, Thomas, welcome. Sorry, we're starting off on a little bit. I don't call it a downer. We're artists. We all go through this stuff. So, anyway, welcome. Everybody else will welcome you as well. Hey, Hero, how's it going? Hero is saying, dude, you're doing things faster than me. No, okay, yeah, well, so that's just, okay, you bring up a good point. What I'm talking about, even though I said I want things to happen faster, it's just, I'm getting lost, or I'm forgetting my place, I suppose I should say. And I share this with you guys as well, and it's a belief I have, even though I'm currently, kind of breaking it, which is to say anyway that, just because you work hard or what you perceive to work hard and stuff doesn't always mean that you're going to get what you want, right? That's one of the sad realities of comics anyway, or really anything I think that you want to do, is if you want it bad enough and you work hard enough, it still doesn't mean you're going to get it. Like, that's the reality, right? Because if it was like that, then anybody that works hard gets stuff. I don't know. I'm all over the place right now. I apologize. So I'm going to be rambling back and forth. My mind's been screwed up last little while. Just racing all over the place. I went to Quebec for a little family, my girlfriend's family side. It was a good time for the most part. I got to zip line over a 500-foot waterfall. That was pretty cool. Got to see a lot of cool sights, learn a little bit about, or as the French call it, Quebec. Quebec! I call it Quebec. A lot of, there's some cool stuff there. And I didn't really draw much, really, at all. They have something like 70 or 80 family members, and, I'm part of the family, but I never really met these people, so it's like, anybody else that's ever been in any of this kind of situation, you're sort of like by yourself in some of them. Not in like a bad way, but I don't know these people, right? Like everybody else, like it's a family get together kind of thing. So that's going on. I wasn't really working on JESOP King, obviously, that whole time. Just kind of taking it away, thinking of it like a vacation and all that stuff. But Um, I think getting back from the vacation, and not to say that I don't like my day job, because there's moments that things of it that I do enjoy. Just like you guys, we're all sharing the same kind of thing here. It's just, I think I'm just getting sick of it. Not of my job necessarily, but sick of not seeing the dream, I suppose, or what I imagine my dream or goal to be, seeing any fruition. And I know that why I said it in the outset, why I feel like it's probably selfish, because I know it's this whole thing's a patience and waiting game from the get go. Because no matter how, nothing guarantees you anything. And I just started this comic, right? And it's not like this comic is the greatest thing ever, and I know all those things. Whoops, there we go. Just waiting for it to save. But I just wanted to start. My mind where I started going, and I'm gonna catch up to what you guys are saying in the chat. So thank you so much for jamming stuff in there, you guys. But I just wanted like supercharge stuff, and so I started going back and forth, just sort of thinking of like, well, nothing's really changed. This project here was, or is anyway, something that I hope can leapfrog into another project to maybe one day, someday, go into like a full-time comic gig. That would be awesome. And not to say anything I'm doing right now is worthy of that, but the fact of making comics and trying to get better all the time, that usually leads to something, right? Whether it's getting client work, whether it's anything, right? At least that's the way I look at it. Working, there's never anything bad that happens from working. I guess you can overwork yourself, but that's okay. Sorry, I changed my hotkeys here, so every time I press this, see, it's going over to that. Give me 1 second here. I don't have my webcam hooked up. I would have showed you guys. Do I have it hooked up? Yeah, because I never. Here, let's see if we get the old webcam back. You guys can see me crying on stream. No, just joking. Give me 1 second here to set this up, because I want to show you. I set something back up for my stylus. I did it before, and it's a trick, like I learned everything else from Freddie Williams that he did, and it really does help for anybody out there that likes to work digital and even traditional. I've seen artists do this as well, but it helps, or not prevent, but really I don't feel like a carpal tunnel pain or anything really anymore when I use this thing here. Just give me a second here. We're gonna get real gross, and then I'm gonna catch up with what you guys are saying. And then I'll get off or maybe I'll come back to the topic here. Like I said, I'm all over the place today. Okay, so let's see here. Webcam. Like I say, it could be zoomed in big time, so we'll see what we can get going here. Webcam properties, is this going to work? Cool. And transform, I think. Uno momento, guys. I'm just trying to figure this out here. YouTube overlay. Yeah, we got that. Got the settings button. Maybe we can deactivate and activate this thing. It says it's on, but I don't see it. That's a shame. Here, let's try. We're just going through a whole bunch of stuff here. Hey, there I am. Let's see. Okay, so why is this working? Okay, let's try this here. Properties. That's weird. Alright, well, I guess that's... I don't want to make this whole stream me trying to figure this out. Oops. Actually, you know what? Give me 1 sec. I'm going to be right back. The stream's still going to catch up. I just want to see if I can exit this and then bring it back in and see if it'll work. So I apologize. Just give me like a minute or two. Not that you guys really care. I just want to show you my all this is to show you my stylus here that I did. Real ghetto setup. But the main reason so you can try it and hopefully it'll help you if you guys have any kind of like hand pain or wrist pain. Okay, just give me 1 second. It'll say the stream's gone, but it will be right back. Okay. See if I can move this around here. Good enough. Yeah, if we need more space, we'll get more space. But, okay, anyway, should work. All right, so this is it here. Just so you can see how lame that is. Where's it? There we go. So, it looks disgusting, I know. All it is it's actually a sock cut in half. Like the stretchy part that goes around your ankle. I cut that in half and just tried to wrap it as tight as I could around here. And then this is just, is it packing tape? That's what it is, all around there. And then up here is just masking tape just for a little bit of grip. But the whole point of this, I've done this before, but then I stopped and I got back into it. The main reason is this is because when I would normally draw on a stylus, like this, it's just like a regular pen, right? Is that you kind of get, I tend to get up here, and my fingers are together. And what happens is when you start doing thin to thick lines, my fingers, they kind of get closer. And what it does is create a pressure in your hand. I saw Freddie Williams talk about this. I think tattoo artists use something like this, but it's like a rubber grip. But anyway, I can squeeze, and you can make this as big as you want, but I can squeeze to a point where it's comfortable, and I can get still line variants in there, as well as what I do find, and you guys might like this too, even when you're playing around with your pressure sensitivity settings and stuff, is by having like this kind of grip, you can like make lines much lighter across the screen. So your inking can get better if you do like a lot of thin to thick stuff, okay? Anyway, let me catch up with what you guys are saying. La 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 la, going up there, boom 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 boom. Black, how's it going, man? When it comes to pedestrian scenes like figures talking or having dinner, how would you go about rough shape or breaking down panels for that? Honestly, it depends on the like what's actually happening in there. If it's just people talking, you know, you kind of have to be creative with how you choose your panels. First and foremost, don't ever forget that the whole comic book medium is story, right? So you have to find a way to be super clear about what's going on. And don't let pretty art, don't sacrifice clarity and story for pretty art, okay? The moment you do that, the moment you're going to lose your reader, the moment you're going to start breaking pace, and it's going to all start looking super boring. There's a reason why people still draw just talking heads. They're not the most attractive thing, but faces show expression, hands show expression. If you need to show story, right, you can put story elements. An example that I remember seeing is like, imagine you had two people sitting down for dinner like this, right? And you've got the lady here and the guy here. Nothing's on the table. That means that there's nothing in between them. You can start to do stuff like add, like, I don't know, maybe she's got plates over here and with food on it, and he's got a plate with nothing on it, meaning he already finished his dinner, right? That's showing time. But then you could also show things like, you know, put some shadow over here, maybe like this. So he's all in shadow and she's in light. So it makes you feel like he's hiding something, or there's some, you know, like they're not, one's light and one's dark, meaning two dichotomies of emotion there. And the other last thing you can do is you can just put like flowers and like things in between them. And what this does is when you're reading across, your eye is going to get stuck on a lot of the obstructions that are there, and that means, or can show, that there's an obstruction between the two, right? Like that's just one thing, but those are the things, in my opinion, that if you are aware of them and you try to include them in what you're doing, it can help give you some range as to, you know, the limit that you kind of have when all you do is have talking heads. So I'd recommend trying some of that. Let me see what's going on here. I was thinking of having like a leg over here. Yeah, let's put a knee over here, just so kind of like he's reaching across. Let's see what we're doing here. Tom is saying you have to recharge somehow, brother. Keep going. Thanks, man. Hero, I gotta catch up on your videos. I've been so busy. Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry. My videos are like hours long. I don't expect anybody to be watching a lot of those. Thomas, as long as you believe in what you're doing, the small stuff will fall in place. It just takes one open door. Yep, I agree. Chris, you're just going through one of those phases. I go through them too. If it makes you feel better, from my perspective, you at least work in a creative field. I, on the other hand, work in a factory. To that point, I will say I think that working in a factory slash retail slash whatever can actually offer you, in an odd way, an opportunity to actually be more creative. For some weird reason, I found that I drew more, or at least it seems that I drew more meaningful things, right? Like, again, I don't want to make it sound like I'm shitting all over my day job, because I don't intend to do that. But drawing cute cartoon characters and learning how to color better and stuff, that's great. That's, obviously I've carried that over into JESOP, right? This whole project has been a whole bunch of that stuff, which is great, of course. But at the same time, when I would work at the day job, it would give me like those breaks to get excited in a little bit of a way to come home and work on comics. Whereas at my day job, since I'm most of the time kind of drawing or designing or something, right? Like I'm not just, for the most part, just sitting there doing nothing. I'm using my brain in a creative fashion to get a job done where I wouldn't be exercising those muscles at like my factory or retail job. So what does that mean? That means that muscle that I have, that discipline to sit down and draw every night, gets tired a lot quicker because all day I'm doing that anyway. Whereas my retail jobs, I'd be stocking shelves, talking to people, customers, or that kind of stuff, or walking back and forth, or whatever the hell your job was. It's not creative at all. And when I would come home, I could still be fresh. I remember coming home, getting excited to get a pot of coffee going, and just spending into the night just drawing. And I don't do that much anymore. And I know exactly why. It's that muscle. I have to keep working at it even harder, which is which is weird, because I'm being exhausted from it. Is definitely what's happening for sure. Like I can tell. I 100% can tell. Hey Brian, how's it going there? Trying to work. You're right. Building BMWs definitely lets your mind wander and makes it eager to draw. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say there, add that because I do think, and I thought this way as well, that the grass is always greener on the other side, right? And it'll always be that case. If I want to draw comics as for a living, if I want that to be my job, why is that? Because it replaces having to do all this other stuff that I don't like and blah blah blah. But the grass is going to be greener on that side too, right? Like there's going to be tons of days, and I know there's going to be tons of days where it's like, fuck, I just, tired of drawing New York City getting blown up. 10 pages this week of spaceships blowing up New York City, double page spread. Like that's a lot of work. So no matter what you do, you're always going to have some bad and good. What was it? Was it in? Did you guys ever watch Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise? And I remember there was like that one line the guy said. I'm gonna paraphrase it. It's gonna be butchered, but it was like, you can't have the sweet without. What was it? You can't have the. I think it was you can't have the salty without the sweet. I think that's what it was. It was basically the good without the bad. If you didn't have bad things, the good things wouldn't matter as much, and you wouldn't want them as much, right? So even though art like burnout or whatever the hell you want to call it, doubt of your job or being bummed out that you're not further along than you wish you were, you need that from time to time, I think. Because if you don't, then everything just becomes kind of like, ugh, the same old. But anyway, yeah, so one of the things that is going to be happening is once this chapter is done, and I don't want to rush it, and I feel like, and I was just telling my girlfriend this today too, because we were kind of talking about it, and I've been noticing this for a little while now, which is like, I've been very militant in the beginning, but it went away, of making Jessup King the Monday and Friday release, and having to hammer out 3 pages a week, which isn't really a lot to me anyway, right? The problem with that is it's hard to do. Of course, it's tough to do. And then I noticed that I wanted to try doing something else, meaning changing the update schedule. Remember how I was telling you guys? So it could be like once a month or something like that. But the pages, it won't be a page updates like they currently are. It'll be like chapters, much like if you guys have ever been to Webtoons or Tapastic. Really, I think in this year, or in this age anyway, I guess, of webcomics, I think that's probably the best way to be doing it. I think people react a little bit better to coming back to read parts of a story as opposed to a page a day or page a week updates, right? So we're switching to that. But that also means that I get to remove the update schedule. So it's not like once a month guaranteed. I'm going to do my best to get them out regularly, but it's to remove that pressure of when it's done, it's done. But this also allows me to also go back and start to add, in my opinion anyway, better quality art. So I want to kind of get back to doing. I'll show you guys this. I was actually watching these videos the other day of the Ninja Turtle stuff we were doing. How I was inking them back then. Like it was so long ago. I don't know if you guys remember, but I'll show you. And I want to sort of switch JESOP King to possibly be a little bit more like this. And the reason why is because I've been sending these pages to editors like Marvel, DC, and anybody that's willing to look at my stuff or thinks that I they might have a potential interest in anything I'm doing. But I fear, just based off some of the feedback, and some of you guys remember I was telling you guys about it, is that for one thing, I'm submitting things to a superhero company. And when you look at JESOP King, he probably doesn't sell superhero. At first, you might think the style might, but he doesn't sell superhero. So I want to add a little bit more shading, something that just sells off the superhero look a bit better. But also what it's going to do is I'm changing the story a bit. The plots are still staying the same, but you'll know exactly what I'm talking about in the next chapter that uploads. We're going to switch it a little bit so that it has more of a superhero theme. That way I can kind of go back in and start adding like buildings, regular people. I'm not saying he's going to crash on Earth or anything like that, but like humans, humanoids, females. Things that, like, if I'm sending these things to these companies that make superhero books, they want to see what I can do or what you can do in those. What's the way I'm trying to say it? If it's like tailoring your resume or your portfolio to a company. Let's say I'm going to Disney. I'm not sending them horror images of blood and guts. That doesn't make sense. They don't do that. They want to see cartoony kind of things, right? So anyway, that's just kind of going along so you guys can kind of hopefully make some sort of sense of what the hell I'm talking about. But let's just go in here and check this out. I think this is a high resolution one. But this will most likely be towards the style that I'll be going with some of the inking and stuff here. And you guys remember this. If you guys haven't, I have a whole video series of this stuff recorded. I think just this side here, the good guys, was like 5 hours or something nuts. You can set it to like speed it up for two times, and then you can skip around so it goes a lot quicker. But you can see I'm not even rendering that much in here, but there's still some rendering. But definitely there's some things in here that I think this feels, and I enjoy this stuff. The only reason I don't do this is because it takes time, because I was trying to hit that deadline with JESOP King. So some things are going to open up here, and I'm excited for the next chapter, we'll say. Not the literal chapter, but like the figurative one as well. So you guys can see all this kind of stuff. But again, I think if I would send this sort of stuff to editors, it's more in vain, in my opinion, of what they would do, right? Whereas, and again, this isn't to slight JESOP King at all. I love this book. I get excited by it, but I want to see if this could help me get that goal. Because the thing is too, right? Like, I'm sorry, I'm rambling on you guys. There was a time when I stopped really caring about working for DC and all those people. And I still don't think you have to work for them. There's so many the internet has given us so much that you do not have to work. Like, you don't have to work with these people to have a career in making comics. I know that. But one thing that it does afford you, seemingly anyway, is you don't have to, I don't want to say you don't have to work, but if you're going to go through Kickstarter and stuff, there's a lot more upfront cost, but it gives you more freedom down the road of being able to do your own thing. And I still would love to go down that route. But in my mind anyway, and you guys can let me know what you think, I think it's like, let's say Marvel offered me something, right? And it was enough work that would get me through a year, then that's the time where I can finally make that choice of, okay, well, this is going to have to replace my day job or something along those lines, right? If I can get something to do that, then I'm all right, and I think I'm okay with doing that. Um, anyway, sorry. Yin and the yang, you got it. Take the good, you take the bad, and you put them back together, and you have the facts life. It's all good, man. Toxic Pirate. See you later, buddy. You probably already left, but thanks for popping in. Hero, if you don't mind me asking, how are you submitting your art to these companies via email? Yes, I am submitting them through email. I have a bunch of email addresses, and currently what I've been doing is once I finish 6 pages of inks, that's when I send off a little note or a quick little email to these companies, or to these people, I should say, and just let them know this is, what the art looks like so far. Here's the story and stuff. And most of the time, I don't hear back from anybody. But that's normal. That's not because they don't like, or these people don't like what I have, or anything like that. That's just normal reaction. Trust me, they've got so much more to do. They've got people, like, they have a job, right? They're not always going to be looking at people that's setting stuff in. But a couple people have given me feedback and stuff, which is great. The whole goal is to just keep growing and stuff, right? So it's not going anywhere. But I do fear, based off some of the feedback that I have gotten, where people are kind of asking, they're like, cool, we like this, we like that, but do you have anything with like people in it, And then I get it, but I knew that going in, that this was just for me doing this sort of stuff, right? Just like a fantasy, sci-fi, Star Wars kind of thing. And we haven't gone to the areas in the story anyway where there's people, But it's all good. You're making the story that's much more marketable. Thanks, man. I think you may be right. We'll see as the story keeps coming out if people have any value in it or find value in it. If not, that's fine too. I'm not so in my head up my own ass. This is like make it or break it kind of stuff. I'm just making a comic book, and it's fun. But at the same time, I have no intent that this is just a hobby. I want something out of this. I want this stuff to start moving in a direction where it can become my job, you know. But what's happening is, if you guys remember, I know you guys, not everybody watches everything I do. You guys aren't all in here during the streams, but the two main goals for even doing this was one, to keep making more comic book pages, because I would always say at the end of my streams, keep reading comics, keep making comics, but I wasn't really making comics. So why the hell am I saying that? I stopped sort of following a dream of making comics and started going towards, I suppose, where like the freelance money kind of is, like prints and covers and stuff. But it wasn't fun. I didn't find the fun in that. I missed telling stories. So it was that, and then the other side of it was to gain a bigger following, a bigger audience, I guess. Because if I'm making my own stuff, then when it comes time to sell, possibly people are interested in it. And if I have more people following me, more people might be interested in paying, for my comic stuff. And that could become a way to do comics as a job, But I gave myself a year to do that. And what's happening is we're like halfway through the year now. And it's just like I'm growing impatient. It's like, not that I want money. I'm not like, oh, how do I turn this into money? I don't care about that. I have a job. What I want though is like something to replace that job potentially. I don't know. And again, not that I hate that job that I currently have, but it's like almost feels like this pressure of time in a way where I would like to experience what it might be like to work in that field once in my life to know if that's really something I want to do. Meaning, like, yes, comics for sure, but like maybe I do it and I don't like it and I go back to doing this, and then I know that this is 100% what I want to be doing. It's just my own stuff, and if there's a following of people that like it, great, and that kind of thing. Maybe that sounds like it's a little like I'm not focused. I'm not sure. Hero, so cool. What about your connection to Will? Will has said like if anybody had asked, he'd let them know about me and stuff like that, which is great. But I talked to some of the editors that talk to. When I say talk, I mean email, and sometimes they get back to me. The same that got him a job at Marvel and stuff like that too. Right? It's all there's things here. There's luck. There's timing. There's all kinds of stuff. It's not just being good sometimes. And not to say that I am, and I'm just waiting for the golden moment. But there's more variables in it than just knowing the right person. Even though that does help. It does help. But and by the way, like Will as well, he's still fresh over at Marvel, right? Which is great. However, I would never really ever ask him to push to get me some sort of attention. His career's too new. You know what I mean? I don't want him risking anything or putting himself on the line for anything like that. Not that I think that would, but I'd rather him just focus on doing his thing. He deserves it, right? I'll tell you what, I would like to get back into the routine until I really get burnt out doing that. Of like drawing like for 5 or 6 hours every night after work. I used to do that all the time when I was working at like EB Games and stuff like that. Okay, so we got this guy punching him in the face. We also have to have our lady friend down here, giving him a nice little punch of the solar plexus. Hey, Keeman, how's it going, buddy? Welcome. Hera, I'm really proud of you, man. Honestly, well, thank you. Listen, man. I know, I know. All this is sounding like I'm just whining. I know that. Whoops, thought that was over. 1 second. It's kind of bugging me. There we go. I know this all sounds like whining, and I'm sorry that it does. I really, and I'm just being honest with you guys. This is like what's going through my head, because I have to imagine some of you guys feel this way at times too. But thank you anyway for the support and all that cool stuff. And I don't ever want to sound ungrateful. Trust me, anybody that's even willing to come in and listen to me, it's crazy. How's this? Sorry, I'm just trying to. Just gonna be punching him in the. Maybe kind of. Let me go that way with it, maybe. Yeah, that'll work. What about self-publishing? All right, you know what? You're like the fifth person to actually ask me over the last month about that. My dad, when I came back from Quebec, I was telling him about the trip, and he was asking me about that. He's like, "So a couple guys at work they want your next issue." It's funny the way he talks about it. And I had to try to explain to him how I have no intent of making this like like publishing this stuff. However, on one hand, this I don't know, because I feel like for self-publishing, not that it's not possible. I've told you guys about this a bunch of times, but I didn't write this as a graphic novel, and I don't think it should be. I look up to books like Steve Lichtman. I've shared that with you guys before. And if there's really any book that I would follow, it would pretty much be like that. And if you haven't read or are unfamiliar with Steve Lichtman, I recommend reading it. You can read, I believe, the first one for a good chunk of the first one online for free. And what the route they did is they just noticed that it was getting popular, and then they went to like Kickstarter, and they did it right. They did it up nice. It's a great book. I have it. Turned out awesome. And I've definitely thought about that for sure. Is like there's really no reason not to, right? The only thing that I keep telling myself, and I'm the main reason why I keep going back and forth on it, is that it's like I don't have the infrastructure, I call it, to do it, which is probably a lot of horse shit, right? Like, what do you mean you don't have the infrastructure? Who has the Nobody has infrastructure. It's self-publishing. What are you talking about? I'm probably just more chicken shit than anything to do that. But on the same side, it's definitely crept into my mind since everybody keeps asking about it. Well, not everybody, but it does get brought up from time to time, and it makes me go, well, maybe there is something here that I should look into, because that could be, I'm doing comics anywhere on my own time. But I don't know, like, is that a way that you can like make a career off of? Do you guys know of any career Kickstarter people? Again, not that it's not impossible. Of course it is. When I started doing this project here too, I started shelving a lot of the. It's very hard for me to. It was very hard. I should say very. It's not that it is anymore. It was very hard for me to even start doing a project, because I would always ask myself way too many questions that I'd never get the answer to, because it would take time to think about it or make the script better or anything like that. A lot of doubt would creep in, and then I found the only way to actually move for myself on a project is to stop asking myself those questions and just make. And that's what JESOP King became. I just went with it. And now it's getting to that point. And I think maybe this is sort of like the culmination of a lot of that is just that, is the fact that, maybe more planning can get done now. We're going to have like 50 something pages when this is done. And we're going to keep going with other stuff for sure. I mean, like other chapters and things. So it's always possible. But the other side of it too, right, is like I've always said, like I actually just picked up an iPad, and I was gonna do a review on it. If you guys remember, I've bought an iPad, I think like 4 or 5 times now and returned it. I'm gonna keep it this time. I got it mostly for the trip, and then I started doing some stuff with it. And I'm like, this is actually pretty cool. I got a subscription to the Marvel Unlimited. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. For $10 a month, you can just read as many comics as you want online. It's been amazing. I've been reading stuff that I never thought I would have read, and it's got me jones about superheroes and all that stuff again, because I'm back in that world, right? But back when we started JESOP King, when I bought an iPad then to test it out, the pages on it, like, there's something about looking at your own art that you're proud of. And I would look at it and I'm like, this is awesome. This is the way to read it. This is great. And what it was doing, and it still does, is I look at it and I still don't think it needs to be in print. But if people could, like, and you can go on the main website right now and all that stuff, like jesopking.com and wherever the hell you're reading it, and it's still big files, and you can look at it. To me, it looks great. But looking at it full screen on like a 12.9-inch iPad, of course, it's going to look amazing, right? Because it's such a high thing. But I was just like, I don't see the reason for print. I get it. I like print as well, but I don't think you need it. And then the question becomes, well, how do I get it out there for people to buy? But they don't need to, because it's free right now. And that's why I don't think money's the issue. Money has never been the issue with any of this stuff. But that I guess that caveats into what I'm what I'm saying right now, of like, but I would like it to replace my job. And if that's the case, then yeah, then money's an issue, right? Because it's got to replace that thing. So you guys see what I'm saying? You guys see what I'm saying? Where everything's all over the place. Right now, all I ever have to worry about is just keep making stuff. And once I have enough stuff, whatever that means, then I can sit down and go. Because like right now, the goal, not the goal, but the intent anyway, or the plan that I had set in motion, is this first year is just make content for this thing, and then year 2. Which is I think February next year, is when I can start to go, okay, what are we doing now? What are we doing now? Are we moving on to another book? Are we still going to continue on with this stuff? Are we going to try to, maybe we can start thinking of ways to make money off of it? What do we want to do? And that's alleviated a lot of stress, because I don't have to worry about it, right? I don't have to worry about it until it comes. And that keeps me moving. But I guess that sort of dovetails in exactly what the hell I'm talking about right now, where it's like, but I'm being impatient, right? You guys see how it makes no sense? Sorry, I keep hitting this thing. I forgot I was supposed to change this. Shortcut settings. So what does L do? Let me just see here. We get eraser. Right here. I'm going to remove that shortcut. Let's try to put it back there. That shortcut L. L is already in use. Select light table. Alright, we're going to have to do that. Let's try to find it. Select light table. Here we go. Select light table. We're going to delete that shortcut, edit timeline, delete that shortcut. What was happening is every time I would go back, sometimes it's hard for me to see if I hit L before. So I keep hitting L and it would keep moving into other things and it was even getting in there. Actually, let's get rid of that one too. This pastel crap. We don't need that. Shortcut settings. There's no brush. P. Pencil. Where is it? Look at all that. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that you could do this. You could set shortcut keys to like a specific pen. So like if you wanted one of these ones, you could set it to like the number 2 or something. And every time you hit it, it would just go to that, which is actually really neat. Just give me a second. I'm trying to find pastel. Gotta get rid of that shite. What do you get? Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Project Angerman. I like it. King Dave Repose. Hey, I'm not. Dave Repose has got his own following, man, and there's a reason why Steve Lichman and all the other stuff he does always succeeds. Jason Brubaker, yeah, I know that. But the thing is with him as well is he does, and I don't know the full details, but from what he's disclosed, is that he does get a paycheck from Webtoons, right? That helps alleviate some monetary stress to continue to do your own thing. It's not just Kickstarter that keeps him afloat, right? Success stories are inspiring, but they're 1 in 1,000. I imagine luck plays a role. I do think luck definitely plays a role as well, yeah. Oh, yeah, you have to try, right? It's like the lottery. That illusion, right? You can't win unless you buy a ticket. Even though I don't believe in lottery, but I guess that's I'm using the lottery of life right now. It's it is what it is. Hey Troy, how's it going? James, welcome. All right, man. There's a lot of brushes in here. Camera W, so it should be done soon. Oh my goodness. Pastel right there. Brush. Maybe I have. What? P is for pen. P is for pencil. There we go. Okay, so let's get rid of that. All right. All that work for nothing. Let's see. There we go. Now I can mash these buttons and nothing will happen except the ones I want. Cool. Took us a while, but we got there. Christopher, before I saw your comments recommending Manga Studio, I went and got Photoshop after watching Repositotes on Starvale. I bought those as well. Great tutorials. Great tutorials. If anything, I can say this about my job. It gives me plenty of capital. Cheers. Cheers. Harrow's got to get to see. If you guys aren't following Harrow, follow him. Tremendous artist. He posts stuff all the time. Stuff that I get a kick out of. A lot of Capcom art. But I've said it before. Not even. But in 5 years, you're going to be an amazing talent, man. I hope less than that, but you're posting stuff that I would like to be doing, which is, or I should be doing anyway. Which it looks like daily study, but it's not just like here's an arm, guys. Go check his stuff out. Very cool stuff. Very, very cool. Alright, so this guy's getting the crap beat out of him. Maybe she should be tilted a bit. Yeah, I'll go like that. Just so I can see it. Okay, so this guy's getting beat to hell. And then down here we have, I think this is Momo. What is it right here? Start from, oh, start, okay, that's text. Okay, let's save that up. Hey, yeah, no problem, man. Just calling it as I see it. Alright, do you guys remember this? We had, whoops, let me grab this. Last stream, which is probably like almost 2 weeks ago, we had, what's it called? I bought those perspective things that were going around. Now, where did I save it? No. Here it is. Okay. So what this is here, and I'm just going to shrink it down so we don't see as much. And I'll show you what we're going to do with it. So in this scene here, we've got Momo in the foreground. She's waking up. We got all these goblins. They're going to start swarming in on her. But I bought this. Somebody was posting it online. I thought it'd be cool. I saw, what's his name? Feng Zhu. He posted about, I saw in a video he had where he had already done this. It looked like he made his own. But this can do a couple things. One, it can potentially save you a bunch of time from having to make perspective grids. They're not that hard. They're not that difficult to do. Or what you can do is you can pick a perspective in your mind that you kind of think looks good, and then it's done, so you can just draw inside of it quick. It's just to get things moving along faster, right? So you'll see what I'm going to do here. I think we're going to try this one. I don't know if you can you drag and drop in here? Does that work? Hey, cool. All right, so we got this. So we're going to copy it, and then we're in panel 3 right now. All right, so we get this. Let's lower the opacity a bit. Edit. Flip horizontal. Whoops. I don't know if I did that right. Yeah, we did. Okay, cool. Nope, we did. I did it wrong. Edit. Transform. That one. And we can kind of put it in here, put it in the panel. You know, play around with the perspective a little bit. The horizon line there looks good. All right, tilt it if we want. But you kind of see what I'm saying here, how it kind of, or hopefully, it's kind of done. You know, like the work, the heavy lifting of perspective is done with this sort of thing. And then again, you don't have to do this. You don't have to use something like this. I don't mind it. I think I just wanted to try it to see if it speeds it along. I could definitely see using something like this at my day job, for sure. Hey, yeah, no problem, Harrow. Good luck, man. Have fun tonight. Alright, so I'm going to put some of the goblins in here first. this guy over here. Does he have his gun? Alright, so now we have one in here. I can kind of guess where the rest will be. So if I put a... let's try to think here. So we have... Here's our horizon line. So as long as the hip is around here, any of these guys should be able to fit. So yeah, bud. Some stars. She was knocked out in the previous page there. Hey Shane, welcome. This is page 46. I think live right now is... Let me go check. I'm so out of it, I don't even know what's up right now. Let's see. We're on page 39 right now. So if you want to get caught up, it's a good time to do so. Okay, so I don't know what the hell I'm drawing here. Okay, so I know this is JESOP. Give me a second here, guys. I'm just off screen here. I just want to pull up my script. It's been a little while. Okay. Documents. There we go. Okay. So this page, 46. Mech's yet under attack as Momo wakes up dizzy. Minions attack with guns. Got it. Okay. So they're a little close there, but it'll still work. Let's see if we get a different perspective. Okay. What I'm going to do as well is we're going to do some more cheats. Because cheating is fun. To do that, let's find a panel where we already had a bunch of these guys in it. That one's close. I think we can use... Where was the one they showed up? Right here? Yeah, page 19. They'll have to be redrawn, but this definitely saves you some time when you have to, or if you want to, oops, wrong thing. If you're trying to save time anyway. Okay, let's merge layers. Thanks, PJ. I appreciate that, bud. Those good old scribbles that have your questions with. So like I said, these will get redrawn, but for now, because this is the breakdown portion of the comic, so actually I don't even know if we need that perspective. So I know, like, a mental note to myself that I'll go in here and, you know, I'm not straight up copying it. I don't think you could, but you can do little things where you can, like what I'm doing right now, you can adjust certain characters or move an arm, move a leg, and the average reader's probably not going to know. I don't consider being deceptive at all. It's just, it's comics, man. Sometimes a deadline's a deadline. And if people aren't going to be able to tell, but the story's still getting told, it's not hindering the story at all, then I think you're good. All right. So have those guys there, and then Momo. She's still pretty dazed. Put some more stars. Yeah, no problem, Kevin. All right. Hey, buddy. All right, there we go. Nice close up of Jessup here. Cool. Okay. We got one last page of breakdowns. John, I thought these action pages. Shh. They were a secret. They were a secret. And then I realized it didn't matter. This is the way I look at it. I know a few of you guys and girls in here, you enjoy the comic. You enjoyed seeing the process of it. So for you guys and girls, this sucks. You know, if you don't like spoilers. On the other hand, there's a vast majority of the people that read this comic that have no idea that I stream, or they do, and they realize the streams are too long, so they don't they don't watch it or participate at all. So to them, it doesn't even matter. So I figured, for those of you that are still interested, why would I not? Why am I not just doing this? If this started becoming something like bigger, then that would be something else. But this comic, the amount of followers I have on this stuff, I'm not saying that as in like I'm not grateful for even a single person reading it, but the amount of people reading this or watching this kind of stuff, it's not so big that it needs to be secrets. You know, I need to share as much as possible to encourage people to stick around. So, just my thought on it. Now this page here, this we get to see one of Jessup King's powers, which is, I love Magneto, and I figured a weapon of war should probably have magnetic powers. So now I had to give him like a classic sort of Magneto pose. Plus I get to draw like kind of like Magneto in my mind. I mean. So that's what we're going to be doing here. Let me just play my action here to get all these folders made. Cool. Breakdowns. And we'll put all those in there. Cool. All right. So this one, I want this page or this panel to be really cool. So let's try our best here to. And I imagine when people are reading this will be the first page. They'll be like, oh man, he's got 3 fingers. I still have people saying that. Might have to thicken these fingers up, I'm not sure. We'll see when we get to the line art. I'm sure most of this will change anyway. Try to do my best Magneto / Jack Kirby stuff here. Alright. Maybe I could do maybe get little holes in his fingers here. Make him feel a little bit more like a machine. Need some big ol'. Hey, buddy. Oh, you big stinker, huh? What are you doing? You want cuddles? Oh, big guy. Oh, big guy. What is your cat's name? I have a black cat named Blix after the compliment. My cat's name is JESOP because he has a white mustache. Yeah, I didn't really try too hard on, on that one. See you, James. Thanks for popping in, bud. I said Jim Lee is streaming live from Comic Con. Staying here, so oh no, hey, it's Jim Lee, man. Go enjoy Jim Lee. That guy's got way more. I can guarantee he's gonna have a way more entertaining, and you'll probably learn more on his on his live stream. Okay. I wonder if I don't know if there's a circular ruler, is there? A curve ruler. Perspective. I don't know if this is going to do what I want. Let's try it out. Nope. Nope. Um, Project is asking, Jonathan, is there one artist or tip you came across that helped get your art to the next level, or did you just come down to mostly consistent? No, my the greatest thing that ever happened to me, like that one, I guess that special thing that happened to me, was I worked at a gas station, and a Marvel artist happened to come in. He moved back to Windsor, where I was living, and he grew up in Windsor. And he was working on a brand new title. Doesn't matter what he was doing. He came in, and I always used to you have a sketchbook, and he said, "Do you mind if I look at your sketchbook?" I didn't know who he was. I was like, "Yeah, go ahead. I'm ringing in his gas or whatever." And he said, "What do you do this for?" And I said, "Oh, I'd like to draw comics one day." And he goes, "Oh, I work at Marvel Comics." I thought that was my big break. Then he told me he was an artist, and if I want, I could come over to his house sometime, and he could show me some pointers and stuff. And I thought I thought I had it made, and gave me his address, and he literally moved in, literally across the street from me, a house or two over. So I thought this was just the stars colliding. You know how everybody's got their little thing, right? So I went over there, and he ripped me a new one. Not in an aggressive way, but basically broke down everything I had self-taught myself and started showing me all the things that I guess he learned. And I leveled up big time. I started drawing like he did, and I learned so much. I learned about shading, rendering, proportion, like everything. I thought I had a general idea of those. I had the concepts down, but because of him, he showed me how to apply a lot of that stuff, and it forever changed the way I worked. Um, we stopped talking to each other. I don't know why. To be honest with you, I don't know why. If I had to guess, I'll take blame, I suppose, of just being like a teenage kid that just didn't take it as seriously as I thought. I definitely should have. But yeah, that was the big defining moment, I would say, for me. There's no real tip. There's really fluke, chance, at the right place at the right time, and all that cool stuff. I'll always be forever grateful for that. Because up until then, all I was drawing was, and there's nothing wrong with what I was drawing. I realize now, but it was all just like uh, anime, video game esque kind of stuff. Things I was really into. Stuff that, like, oddly and funny enough, I guess, is what I want to be drawing now. Not necessarily all like the anime stuff, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying there. So that's my big thing there. Sadly, like I said, that's not a tip at all. It's not going to help you get anywhere. But if I could give some advice or offer you something, I would say besides consistency and hard work, you're living in a time right now that has the internet. You're watching me stream. You can watch Jim Lee stream right now. There's tutorials amongst tutorials. The only thing you guys ever have to worry about besides putting in the work, I always talk about an 80-20 rule. 80% of your time should be, and if you're lucky enough to know comics is something you want to give a solid shot in, 80% of your time should be making comics, 20% of your time should be learning about anatomy and perspective and all that stuff. Because the act of making a comic book, you're going to learn where all your weaknesses are, so that when you go to the table to draw, to study, you know what you need to be studying, as opposed to like what I did, and I think a lot of people still do, which is I grab an anatomy book and I like lots of nights making anatomy studies, anatomy, and blah, blah, blah. But not once, or not to the same ratio, am I making story. So I'm drawing anatomy that I could draw, like a forearm in lots of directions. Whoops. I don't know if my stream died, or is it having a hiccup? Let me see here. It could be okay. Just looked like it was stuttering on there. You guys let me know if it was breaking up. But you could learn how to draw like a forearm in a whole bunch of ways, and that's great. But once there's clothing on it, it doesn't even matter anymore. So that would be my thing there. What was the Oh, right. So that's the big thing. The other one is since you have access to the internet, you have like almost limitless tutorials available to you. Some artists might offer those tutorials at a cost, but they're there, and it's up to you to learn what you want when you want, and that's really all you gotta do is work and keep learning, but keep applying and keep making what it is that you want to do. If you want to be in concept art, you better be making concept art. That's, that's it. Hey Cedric, how's it going, buddy? Thanks, Anger Man. Yeah, and that's just the thing. I don't want to romanticize it because obviously I don't. It never panned out to that like Cinderella ending that I thought it would, right? And I'm glad in a lot of ways that it did that it didn't work out because I now like I know right now I'm ready. If somebody asked me to draw a book, I would stumble away. There'd still be things I would stumble across for sure, but I know I'm ready now. Then I definitely wasn't, and I do think if I was offered anything back then, I wouldn't have earned it myself. It would have been through somebody. And now that I've grown up, I do think it's true. As you grow up, you find out who you are. Now that I've grown up, I enjoy the fact that there's things that people will always help you out, and that's great. But there's definitely a reward and a pride that I have anyway of doing something yourself, getting there, celebrating the fact that people helped you get there, but doing it yourself. That might be stupid. I don't know, and I might not ever get there, but it is something that it's on the bucket list for sure. Mark Bagley, before he looked at my work, told me it better not be anime. That's the thing, man. Some people just hate anime, right? You're asking a lot of comic book artists, like Marvel, DC stuff, to look at your stuff, and if it's anime or manga, they're gonna. It's not what they do. It's not their job. They might like it, but I know it's a little bit different now. But if you're going up showing, let's say your art style looks like Dragon Ball. A lot of people draw that. Let's say it looks like Dragon Ball. Well, and you go to Marvel and you show an editor's not going to go, okay, great, let's put you on a Spider-Man book. It's not going to happen, right? So that's kind of what I was saying at the beginning of the stream, where I want to tailor this stuff a little bit more towards that stuff, because that is a transition that I would like to make at some point with it. No, I had met Bagley. I met Bagley, and I forget the other cat's names. CB Sobalski was there. I know he doesn't remember me at all. He was drunk out of his mind. There's a few of us, and this was in Toronto, and I was there obviously through the guy that hooked me up with teaching me all this stuff. Like I got to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff that scared me away from the industry. I met Steve Mcniven, if you guys remember him. I'll be honest, I don't want to air dirty laundry, but we're gonna do a little story time here. That there was a night where they started going to nightclub. I'm not a nightclub guy at all. Okay, I had a girlfriend at the time. I'm a very faithful dude, so I'm not gonna go out and like start. She was already in Windsor when I was in Toronto. I was going there like a little innocent kid with a portfolio with a Marvel guy, hanging out with Marvel people, maybe to get a job. So like I had different intent than just seeing what it was like. But there are some stories going around that made me think like maybe comics isn't for me. It scared me away because like you might be one of these guys. I don't know. Okay, and if you are, if you aren't, I don't care. I'll tell you what kind of man I am, right? But back then I was hearing stuff. It was like almost like literally like the '90s kind of talk that you always heard of, like the rock star lifestyle. Like they're going on road trips and which would be going to conventions, and then they would get like hookers or prostitutes after the shows and stuff, and they would just have them do stuff, and that's just part of the fun, living that rocker lifestyle. I'm like, but it's comics. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought that shit was real. I'm not interested in any of that. I'm not interested in the money and the fame aspect of it. The fame part is addictive. I'll tell you that right now. And you can get people coming up asking you to sign your stuff. It's one of the biggest rushes. Anybody that's been in here, if you've ever had a booth or at a convention and you've offered sketches, it's an adrenaline rush. Like, it's scary that you might not be able to do the drawing right, but it's an adrenaline rush, man. Hey, Sean, how's it going, man? But anyway, so a lot of those stories that were going around, it was just like parties and parties and like go to this nightclub and I'm burnt out after a show and I wasn't even like doing anything. So all these Marvel guys and stuff, it was like, yeah, we'll go over here. If we go this way, we can call some chicks. They'll come up. And I was just like, I felt gross. I felt like this is not, if this is what comics are, I can't, I don't want to be a part of this. And it broke me a little bit because I thought, I want to draw the Hulk and stuff, but that's the work. The business, or if anybody that's ever been to a work party or anything, like a Christmas party, we'll say at your day job or something, or a potluck. There's a community in your genre of whatever you work. So that's what I thought. Everybody always talks about con parties and stuff. Like, all right, after the con, we'll all meet up and you get to meet friends and stuff. And I've found out since then that's not always the case. But there, I was sitting at a table, like I say, with and I'm not saying these people specifically said this, but there's one person I won't say that was there because I don't talk about him. But definitely Mark Bagley was there, CB Sobalski, and there's a couple other cats. And it was just not them. The discussion anyway was about this sort of stuff, and I felt kind of sick to my stomach. And call me a sissy, whatever you want, but I was just like, that's not, man. I know we're all not going to talk about like who's going to win in a fight, Hulk or Superman. I know that's not where this discussion's going to go, but it just wasn't my thing. And I was just like, God. And I remember taking a cab ride with two of those guys, and they were just blitzed out of their mind. And then the stories continued about this one chick over in Boston, and I was just like, God, dude, like I'm gonna go home, man. This is like my dreams crushed here. This sucks. But then there was one shining thing that happened. Was the next day, it was a Sunday part of the show in Toronto. We were wrapping it up, and they were going to go for one big, huge party. And Steve Mcniven, I'll name drop him for sure. If you guys don't know who he is, was he doing Civil War at the time? I don't think he was doing Civil War, but did he do Captain America? He did something. I'm a huge fan of Steve McNiven's, but it was the way he drew faces was awesome. He was doing these extreme angles and stuff. But they were asking like, oh hey Steve, and I didn't know exactly who it was right away, and I clicked after the conversation. And he was walking with his wife and his kid, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to an after party. You want to go?" And he said, "I'm not about that, guys. Like, it's nice seeing you, but I just want to have a good time with my family." And they said something about him, not in a bad way. They were like, "Oh, he's like a family man now," kind of thing like that, whatever. But it was just sort of like okay, cool. There's a white knight, or whatever you want to call him. There's somebody there that's they're there because they like the craft. Okay, and it just showed me at that point where I was like, all right, so it's like everything else in life. There's groups of people that you'll fit in with, and groups of people you won't. Do your best not to pretend to be that other group so that you can get something. More life lessons, I guess, there. But since then, especially with the internet now, guys, with like YouTube and stuff, like Todd Knock, who also pick a handful of people that are online right now that are streaming, and they seem like my kind of cats. Like you could just shoot the shit with these people. I'm not talking about if you drink, you're a bad person. I'm saying like, I could be wrong. I can't see somebody like Todd Knock going to like VIP nightclubs to meet up with prostitutes. Probably not going to happen. Maybe he did. I don't know, right? But what I'm trying to get at, and you guys know, I'm taking a long time to get there. It just opened my eyes up to something else that I didn't know existed. I was just a little more naive to it. But since then, obviously, maybe that's why we don't talk anymore. I'm not in that life. I'm not sure. They were having rockstar parties when I was going around, and like it would have been, when would that have been? Graduated high school in 2000, so this might have been around like 2002, 2004, around there. Cedric, that's us being a sissy brother. Saying you didn't. Nah, it's all good, man. Especially when around people. Don't worry about it. Trust me. I'm like, I'll be 30. How old am I turning? 35 in December. How people like? Yeah, everybody wants people to think you're not think you're something, but I don't want to say respect you, but have something where like if you can have more people that don't mind you, the better, right? But the older you get, literally the less you care. If you think like if somebody doesn't like you, then like too bad. But what I was talking about obviously was like more when I was a teenager or whatever the hell, right? So story time's done. So I'm going to have to find a brush or something. Not a brush, but like a ruler. Because I'm just putting these in there here for now. I want Jessup to have that old... If you guys ever watch the X-Men cartoon on Fox, where Magneto would go like this, ring, and then you get like those yellow rings coming out. Totally swiping that. I just want to make sure I don't forget this speech bubble here. Or the sound effect, I should say. Oh, you didn't care for that cartoon? We'll figure something out here with that. All right. Alright, so here we're going to have all these goblins. They're all upset because their guns are going to be taken away. So what I might do as well, guys, is fuck, man. If we go back to the channel like 4 years ago. If you guys remember, I'm gonna say it again, like a broken record, and I hope we get there. But like I said at the beginning of this stream of sending to editors and stuff. Jessup King's definitely going to be getting more of and I hope, superhero feel. Probably more in vein of like Invincible if I had to push it in a certain direction, right? Not just because Jessup has a mustache. Hear me out on that one. But more in that route so that I can get more when I send this stuff to editors. It's still in the vein of stuff I want to do, but I feel like I just need to tone it, just like steer the ship a little bit more superhero-y. One of the passions I've always wanted to do, and I didn't do it with this, but it would have been in another project, is like Final Fantasy. It's kind of like Battle Chasers in a way, where it's Final Fantasy, but like superhero Final Fantasy, right? I love that, just love that mix of stuff. But I'm also going to start doing as much as I can. I can't promise anything, even though I just said that I kind of kind of would, but I want to share it with you guys too. Is what I'm including in those emails to editors, not what I'm saying, but the artwork. And I want to start doing like 3 pages, right? So one of the tricks I've heard that I was recommended to do to save some time and stuff, and that'll be the first one I'll do, is like, let's say it's a 3-page, maybe 5, I'm not quite sure yet. 3 should be enough. 3 pages of like the Avengers, right? So I can send that to Marvel, but since we're doing everything digital, I can just turn those layers off that are the Avengers and just swap them out with like the JLA, and then send that off to what's it called, DC and stuff like that. So I want to share that stuff with you guys. It's very similar to what we're doing right here. I'm not going to be. If you guys have been with me at all for any period of time, it's not going to be anything new. You guys have seen me. It's the exact same process that I'll be doing stuff in. But the last time we did this was with the Ninja Turtles. Again, I don't know if you guys remember that that long ago. Let me actually see if I have it here. You guys can see. I was looking at it the other day. It was the pencils. Comics. Let's see if I have it. TMNT might be in their pitch. Look at that. I've got 2 pitches. Really? Alright, so this one didn't start at all. Oh, we got a whole bunch of... I remember this one. This one was with the Rat King. I don't know. It's going to be fun. Let's see if I have anything in this one. Really? So what the hell would I have all this for? Alright, maybe I can't show you guys, because it's not here. Weird. Let me just see. You know what? Maybe it's in business. Let's try that. Guess not. Weird. Dang. All right, then I guess not. What is this? Cool portfolio piece, man. Comic board. Anyway, it was a Ninja Turtle one we were just doing in pencils because I figured instead of trying to get a job doing inks, I could just pencil. I don't know, some of you guys might remember that or not, but it doesn't matter. It's a weird arm. Cops. Was the guy's name Power Cuff? Who shoot that shit out of his wrist? Love that show. Hey AK, how's it going, buddy? You and I have a nice romantic date over Google Hangouts. What is it, Saturday or is it Friday? Saturday, right? Should be Saturday. A bit off topic, but if you could get paid to take an art course for 2 years, would you do it? I guess that question is open to everyone else here too. Somebody just ask it again. PJ, welcome buddy, is saying if I could get paid to take an art course for 2 years, would I do it? Well, I mean, I don't want to keep asking the questions, but like, what's the course? Like, why am I taking it? To give you an answer, I guess if it's in line with a goal of mine, then yes. If it's not, then no. So, put it in context. I want to make comics for a living. If I'm going to the Kubert school and I'm getting paid for it, maybe, possibly. I'd have to look more into the curriculum. That'd be about it. Because especially for comics, right? Like no matter what, in order to get better or to get a job doing comics, you have to make comics. That's it. That's the only thing you ever have to do. Besides luck and all that crap, right? So if that's the case, then I don't know. If the schooling I was taking, whatever schooling it was that I could just draw comics, then yeah, I would. But if it was like to learn how to color better or something like that, that's not part of my comic goal, so I wouldn't. No. Or okay, like what Sean's saying is like another example. If it's an artist that I look up to that I would love to learn from, 100% yes, 100%. So the reason why I say no, and I see what you're saying, PJ, and I just want to add to this because I did talk about it earlier, is from what I'm not calling you out. You're saying that you would just because it gives you time to draw, plus you're getting paid for it, which is great. So my job, I do draw a good chunk of the day. Not really. I'd say maybe 30% of my time working where I work is actual drawing. A lot of it's just like making stuff in Photoshop. But it exercises that creative muscle so that when I come home to work on creative, like comics is 100 from start to finish is 100% creative. I'm tired and I don't want to complain about it. I'm just being real with you. I'm so tired sometimes that it's damn near close to impossible sometime. It's more of a struggle than an enjoyable thing to actually make a comic book, which breaks my heart. And it's some of the thing that feeds into the reasons why I want to start, hopefully, right, make a transition somewhere. Not that it's going to happen or whatever, right? But that's what I'm saying. So if I went to a classroom drawing all day so that I could come home to work on a goal, like let's say comics, I know from experience myself, I wouldn't be able to do it. I would just be so tired. And you'd have to push yourself, right? Of course. And that's sort of like where this goes. If it's going to help me get closer to making comics, then I would do it. If you don't have a goal, then I would do it in a heartbeat because you might find a goal there while you're doing that stuff. You know what I mean? Chris is saying, if you are serious, then I would tell you that you can teach yourself. There are so many resources on the internet. Art school didn't teach me anything. I learned more from tutorials by artists. I hear that a lot. I don't want to say that's the right thing. It's different for everybody, but I do hear that a lot. PJ, I'm in the Navy soon to be released medically. So they will pay me for 2 years after release and pay my tuition, take any training I want. Okay. Right now, I'm a single dad with 2 kids. Finding time to draw as much as I would like isn't. Okay, see, so okay. So thank you for disclosing all that because it gives context to your question. So what I would say is, you just said that the course you're thinking of taking is a digital animation course at a local community college. So have you animated before? Do you think you'd be happy animating for the rest? I hate using the word rest of your life because it's such like good luck finding something to do for the rest of your life, right? Unless you already know right now what it is, okay? So if it would make you happier, do it. Do it. If any of this is going to make you happier, do it. If you think there's a long-term thing from this, even better. If this isn't it, maybe there's something else you could do. Great. I don't. No matter what art course you take, my man, anybody that's listening, any art course, any art school you go to, any fucking thing you guys spend money doing, tutorials online, anything, it means nothing unless you're still making stuff on top of it. Okay? So you could learn how to animate, you'll learn how to make a ball squish and stretch and timing and 12 frames a second stuff, right? You'll learn all that, which is great. But so does every other animator, right? So unless you're making animations on top of all of this stuff, just like making comics on top, going home after school and your homework and still making stuff, if you don't have time to do that, don't do it. In my opinion, don't do it. Unless it makes you happy. If at any point in this discussion something makes you happy, I will always say do that thing. Because happiness is going to let you see the world through different lenses and opportunities show up that other people might not see. If it's something that might potentially give you a career, since now you're leaving the military and you might need something else, I don't have a lot of experience in animation. I went to a college for animation, but I dropped out. A lot of my friends that I made through there, most of them didn't end up doing animation, but the ones that did, they all had to move to like a major city for the most part. Just my opinion. Like I think Sean's got a different opinion on it, and he's very qualified. Lots of people have different opinions, so I can only imagine you have to weigh back and forth. And the other side again too, and this sort of plays a little bit into what's it called? Should people go to school or not? Man, let's put it this way: like the story, you're telling me about, sadly your wife passed away. I'm sorry about that, and all that stuff. You might start meeting you're gonna meet new, fresh people, right? And sometimes that alone is worth it, right? Let's put it this way: the day job I have right now is only, get this, okay? Let me just paint this picture for you here. I'll draw it for you so you guys can understand it. So here's John in art school. Okay, I'm in it was called tradigital animation. Half of the year is traditional, the other half was digital. So I was in here for one to 1.5 years, okay, and then I dropped out. Then I went to work. I mean, there was a lot in between here of some other stuff, but for stuff that matters here, I worked at EB Games. If you guys don't know what that is, basically a used video game store, and we call it Dollarama here. You guys might have something else, a buck or two, or something dollar. I think we got it doesn't matter. Dollar store. I was working both these places so that I could get as close to 40 hours a week as possible while still doing comic art on the side. And I actually, as much as this sucks, working like 7 days a week, only 4 or 5 hours a job, but as much as it sucked doing all that, I felt like I was making more artwork myself, okay? So I was working here. In my first year up here in animation, one of the teachers left. This right here is most likely maybe close to, I don't think it's exactly, 10 years later. We'll say anywhere from 7 to 10 years later, okay? That teacher that left came into EB Games, right? And sorry, I should also add, in between this, I moved to Toronto and then moved back, and just, again, just by chance, right? That's why I say this all the time. I'm not a guy that believes in luck and chance. I am one of those guys that, like, you can kind of build and make a destiny for yourself, with the big asterisks of, but shit does randomly show up that doesn't make sense. Okay. So he came in and he told me, again, through chance, oh, hey, what are you doing? Why are you here? You know, all that stuff. We just started shooting the shit. Hey, I know a guy, says my old teacher. I know a guy that graduated the same course I was in, I think a year or two before I was even there. He dropped out. He started his own company, and they need a designer. Give him a shout. So I did. Now I got a job. Only because their designer probably quit, I think, if the story goes right, like up to 3 months. Or they were trying to find a designer for up to like 3 months or something. Or maybe it was probably less than that. This makes no sense. This story shouldn't make sense or shouldn't work at all, right? Literally who I knew in a situation of something that I probably shouldn't even have been in. I went into animation because when I graduated high school, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do, but everybody's pressuring you out of high school to go to college because I'm not ready to grow up yet. And the local college was saying Disney hires. I draw, I could do animation, so I went there and I found out I hate animation. I love watching it. I hate making animation. It, to me, is not fun. To me. So I left. But if I had never done that, I wouldn't be in the day job that I have right now. So roll that into the thought process of what I'm trying to say. And I think Sean and maybe some other people are there. If this could give you happiness, if this could give you potential things to happen outside of it, do it. You're saying it's paid for? Probably a lot less stress on your life than having to punch a clock and go work somewhere else. Single parent, you can go home, even if that gives you that little happiness of being able to go draw for like 8 hours a day. I'll never tell anybody not to do that if it makes them happy. That's why I always want to outset every. And this is just something that I've started changing my opinion on for a long time. I used to definitely think of work, and it pays off, and happiness, and not just happiness and like, am I happy, but like people I care about, are they happy with me? Meaning, am I making even a little bit of time for people in my life that I care about to want to be in my life? Because I've driven away tons of relationships, personal, romantic, those kinds of things, because all I did was work. Because I knew what I wanted to get from it, but it cost me stuff. It costs everybody stuff. And if I had taken a little bit of time to make not just other people happy, because I get happiness from, you know, spending time with some people, right? Not a lot, but even if you only spend an hour with your girlfriend every night or your boyfriend, and you make it all about them for that hour, you're gonna feel that. It's not just, don't be there and, you know, just be there thinking about work. Stop it. Just be there for them, and they'll remember that. It'll literally be that quality time bullshit, right? So what I'm saying to you is, the last, I guess, advice I'll give or whatever it is, if going to this school is going to give you that little bit of bliss in your head, you think anyway, of learning a new craft and all that stuff, don't even think about it. Just do it. Just do it. Because the alternative is what? Going to work somewhere else you probably don't want to do. And why? You're going to get paid for through your military service, right? Do it. Take the opportunity. Let me just catch up, guys. PJ saying, I spent money years ago doing a 3D animation course, so I know what the community college system is all about. The main reason I'd be doing it would be to have dedicated time where I'm paid to draw. Okay, so the best part about college is being around other artists. Maybe I just wanted to relive the glory days. No, like what you're saying, like it could just jumpstart something in your brain. That part that some of us artists, you know, the older you get, you just sort of forget about some of that stuff. You know, like you say, in your glory days, it's just you're wrapped up in real life now, and you want to go draw all day, right? But like if you have just don't squander the opportunity. If you're gonna do it, there is a chance you could have a career in art afterwards. So don't. So I know you'll take it seriously, but maybe that's all you need right now. Maybe you just need 2 years to draw. That's all you want from this thing is just I want a fucking break. you know, no, and nobody is ever gonna tell you that that's wrong, or if they do, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Nobody's inside your head like you, right? Some people need just some time, and if you can go, you don't got to deal with life for like fucking an hour, and you can just make a ball bounce, drawing it over and over again, and you can get lost in that for a little bit. More power to you, man. Sean is saying, for art, usually the beatdown was student debt. Usually the beatdown comes from student debt and couldn't possibly get into a position where they can live off of the art or more some. Yeah, exactly. If you got a free ride, take it. Yeah, I agree. I'm very anti taking out money for school unless you can pay for it up front. Debt is horrible, guys. Don't do anything that puts you in debt. Or do your best to stay away from debt as humanly possible. Chris, sorry. Degrees don't mean much in the art field. All that matters is whether an employee will... That's true. Yep. Just be sure. Yep. Keeman, I've been wondering, is your book broken down into issues and episodes? It's more like episodes or chapters, I guess, yeah. The first one is about 50-something pages. I didn't intend for it to be this long. Going forward, we're going to be updating. There'll be pages, but like stacked on top of each other. So you might get like one update could be 3 pages, the next one could be 12 pages. But why I want to do it that way is that way you get a story, at least a part of a story. Like imagine watching a TV show and you get a scene of a TV show, as opposed to a page. It's just I think it's I like reading it better that way. So that's the way it'll be going. Sean is saying, I hear you, John. It can be soul sucking to have a blank page in front of you at the end of a long workday. Sometimes the brain doesn't fire up anymore. Yeah, that's that's my brain. BJ, I figure I could level up pretty good in 2 years. Plus, yeah, it's a break from military service compared to military service. Exactly, man. So honestly, just do it. What? There's no. You're not gonna not gain anything out of it. I mean, given the story you added to it, I think everybody's a little different. In your case, I think it's a no-brainer. Myself, I would totally do it. AK saying, I've been seeing a lot of artists throughout different media using Patreon, getting money monthly. Yeah, absolutely. There's tons of ways to make money as an artist. It's not all just easy, obviously, but I just remember he's coming from a military background. School is 100% paid for. Might not be the thing he wants to do, but he just wants to be able to draw. If you think about it, that's what a lot of us want to do. Yeah, Keeman, I do think that's the way it is. One of the reasons I tried to do this Monday and Friday crap was this. I still think it's true. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. But it's like this thought that you have to stay in people's feeds, right? However, with comics, it's a little different. With comics, you have to tell a story. You can't just have pretty pictures. And that's how I feel. I feel right now. My comic is just pretty pictures, and people might come to it every now and then, just to catch up on a whole bunch. The comics I've been reading online, like I can't stand reading one page at a time at all. It's irritating. And sometimes I'll see somebody post something like, "Oh, that's so sick," and I'll click it and I'll go, and it's like, but it's page 3, and I'm like, oh, I want more. If you can get people saying they want more, you're in good shape. As much as like comics is pictures and words, right? But its story encompasses all, and a page at a time, unless it's a gag strip and it's done. I don't. For me, just the way I'm going, I want to get away from that. All right, so we get this cool picture of. Sorry, yeah, I see that too. I really feel like my single biggest barrier is time. I work all day, then I come home, make dinner, wash dishes, do laundry, and wipe. Literally. Yeah, no, yeah, man. Well, you're in a unique situation, right, man? Oh, here, let me ask you this too. So, if you go to school, do you still have to go to work, or if you just go to school, it takes care of everything? Hey, Jojo. Oh, what's up, buddy? Time for bed? Oh yeah. Hey, rascal. Oh, Jessup. Nope. Okay, so you don't have to go to work then, right? Like you can literally go to school for 2 years, and they're paying like do you get like some sort of money for food and stuff like that? Because that's crazy. Yeah, do it. 100%. Do it. 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 Especially if you don't mind animation. I get 90% of my current pay. Okay, yeah, 100% do it. There's no reason not to. Wait, sorry. I guess I'll just add this. I keep asking. So, do you get 90% of your pay as long as you go to school, or is it 90%? Uh, that's it. Like no matter what, you're getting 90%. AK, what do people like in comics these days, or do we just cater to a niche audiences? I think it's the niche audiences. There's definitely pop culture, right? Like superheroes are huge right now because of movies, not necessarily because of the comics. But I think there'll always be, as long as the internet exists, there'll always be niche audiences that you could make a career off of. I do believe. This is one of the ways military compensates you if they cause your injury. Okay, up to 2 years. Okay. So, well, um, hmm, that kind of spices things up a little bit. Only reason I say that is because for those 2 years, I mean, you could spend your time like, do you know if do you have like an art thing that you would want to do? Because like, or maybe this, do you think you were? Let's just say you want to do comics. You let me know what you want to do. Let's say it is comics, though. Okay, just for sake of conversation, if it's comics, do you think you're disciplined enough for 8 to 12 hours per day that you could just do comics and even though you're at home, not be distracted with laundry and the kids or anything like that? Or do you think you need to leave the house? So like going to school in this case will keep you focused. Because if you're that way, then yeah, go to school. If not, if you think you could just pick an office or a room in your house and turn it into a little studio, even if it's your kitchen table for like a certain amount of time, don't talk to me while I'm at work, kind of thing. Um, you might have better success staying at home and really honing in on a specific thing that you want to do. Hey, Michael, how's it going, man? PJ, for example, if I made $100 a week, then after my last day, I start a course. They pay me for it. They also pay me $90 a week up to for two up. Sorry, for up to 2 years while going to school. Okay, right. Okay, just that I made sure here. Hey Mel, how's it going? Mel's saying, looking back, art school gave me a lot of friends and collaborative skills, but re-embracing comic art, and staying disciplined has been far more valuable for advancing my art. Yeah, everybody's got their different need for. Again, I don't. I hate saying sorry, PJ. I don't think they pay me any money if I don't take a course. Okay, so if that's okay, then this is a no-brainer, dude. I mean, think about it. You can get 2 years comped to just go to art school, as long as you don't mind the animation part, or you could just go and just scrape by the skin of your teeth so that you can draw whatever you want to do. You know, if you need that time, man, take it. You know, I probably wouldn't look at it in case you are is any kind of like don't let wasting your time into your mind. Don't make a decision based off of like, well, if I take these 2 years to do animation and it's not what I want, but at the same time, if I don't, you know, and I go get a job flipping burgers or or stocking shelves or whatever the hell, that I can work on my comics or whatever, and you know, level up that way, so that I could get a job within X years. Like, I personally believe don't think that way. Always think long term, right? So we're all in this for the long haul. So 2 years out of your life isn't really a big amount of time, and you don't know. And I gave you an example of like how my life currently is because I dropped out of art school, right? So there's good and bad, and I really don't think as long as you're taking you're doing things, I really don't think there's anything wrong. There's a difference between just sitting home and watching TV or going to school. You know what I'm saying? I think Michael, he has to. The reason he's talking about this one is because it's local. Mel Joth makes a good point. I'm 47 and started back on my art 5 years ago. Occasionally I go, I'm too old for this, and then I remember I'm going to be 50 in 3 years, regardless of what I do. Yeah, man. And what was it Jack Kirby? When did he start drawing comics, guys? I'll let you guys jam that in the chat. I just like it because he's related and he's old, or he started when he was older. I don't know exactly how true it is. I think he did. Is it Jack Kirby started drawing for Marvel Comics when he was, I believe, he was 50? But he was doing romance comics before that, or did he start his comic career when he was 50? Is that right? Yeah, no problem, PJ man. Can't imagine the can't imagine it's an easy decision. 40s? Okay. I was gonna say 50 sounds kind of high to start in comics. Not that it's impossible. It just sounds. I've had a very shitty past few years, so lately I've been going with the best plan right now philosophy. Yeah, you know what, PJ? Again, like obviously, nobody here or very few people, if anybody, is gonna be able to relate 100% to what you're saying or what you're going through, right? So you know more than anybody what's in your best interest. I will say, again, as long as you don't mind animation, and if it gives you some free time to yourself, maybe something you haven't had in a while, uh, to be able to do something you love or loved at one point, drawing, and it's free, and you get paid, I would. I don't see why not. Might give you that. It might be a healing thing for you too, bud. Right? Maybe that's all you actually really need right now. How old are your kids, if you don't mind me asking? Have you talked to them about this stuff? Have they given you like a little some feedback? Are they too young for feedback or? Thanks, Mel. I appreciate that, man. All right, I'm 35 with two kids and a full-time job. I regret not going to art school every single time. I'm 34. I'll turn 35 in December. Your daughter's 15. Okay, so they might be a little. Well, I don't know. The 15-year-old. My daughter is all for it if she doesn't have to move, and my son likes the drawings I make. Well, you got the oldest one's support. Well, she's basically saying do whatever so she doesn't have to move, right? She's got all her friends. This might get a little dark. I hope it doesn't take you to a sad place or anything. Um, Never mind. I won't ask it. Never mind. Well, no, thanks. Damn. Sorry, buddy. I hope you enjoy it. AK, I went to the wrong art school when I was 20. It was fine art, and I hated it, so I picked up where I left off 11 years ago. Is that last kid in the Canadian? No. What makes you say the Canadian? Oh, the A? No, no. Greg Capullo. Yeah, there's time. You don't have to go to art school. Some of you guys might be coming in the conversation a little bit late. There's context here with what PJ's saying, so it changes sort of the thing. Okay, no, I was just gonna say, PJ, like, if you could think anyway, what decision do you think, like, if you were to present this situation with your wife, what would she have wanted you to have done? That's why I said I don't want to get dark with it. Again, I'm sorry, but if maybe that might help you clear some stuff up. I don't know. I feel really weird talking about it because, like, there's, like you say, with your loss and stuff like that. It changes this stuff. So it does sound like you're kind of like you're being swept along here, and a lot of it you're just kind of doing what you can the best with what you got, but not like you're not steering the ship. It's sort of like still doing its thing. Um, that's why I'm asking about this, because I think the art thing might give you that chance to finally be able to maybe slow it down so that you can get back on this thing. That's all. Even if you're saying like they're only going to give you a certain amount of money if you go to school. That might be all you need, man. It's just like to put the brakes on for a bit. You go to school, do the assignments, whatever. But it just gives you some fucking time, and that might, you know what I mean? Like that's why I was saying this could be a healing thing for you. Not necessarily, the career you're gonna walk away with out of this whole thing, but you know what I mean? Sometimes we all need some breaks, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know if you do or not. Maybe that is the thing that you need. I don't know. If you recall, when I first submitted art feed review a few years ago, that's when I started drawing again. My wife was really encouraging. That was shortly before she died. She'd want to keep, she'd want me to keep drawing, course or not. She made that clear. Oh man, do you know what you want? Have you taken that time yet to figure out what it is that you want, man? Do you even know? Drawing is your piece, man. Okay, so just do this, dude. Just do it. There's, you need it, man. You need it. You got your kid's blessing. You got your wife's blessing. Just do it, man. And enjoy yourself. Relax a bit. I know you probably can't relax, but you know what I mean? If you're okay, it's zen for me when I can sit and draw for a few hours uninterrupted. Go heal, man. Go take some time and heal. Heal through one of the wonderful things that you've found that you're able to at whatever age you found that out at, which was drawing. Just stay in the warm comfort of drawing for a while, okay? Worry about all this I don't know. When like what do I do after? Worry about that in like the year after or some shit. 2 years is such a long time. You're not gonna be the same person. You know what I mean? You're gonna learn stuff. Do it, man. Just do it. No, you know what? I don't. You know what? I don't even care if you feel like if people were down by all this. I don't care. Thank you for asking, and if we were able to help, great. Don't worry about all that shit, man. Sometimes people need to talk, right? Don't worry about it. I've had, and I'll say this too, and I'm not trying to like one up you in any way. I've had Patreon hangouts with people that knew it got into some dark shit, man. Some sad stuff you might call it too, but some people just need to get it off their chest, right? And some of it was slightly not even art related. They just needed somebody to talk to with that stuff. I'm not a counselor by any means, but I get it. Don't worry about it. Yours is about art, so it's all good, man. Trust me. Everybody in here that's an artist, they want their artist buddies, their artist brethren to succeed and stuff. You want to see another artist in pain. Not necessarily that you're in pain, but you know what I'm saying. Ryan Jonathan, I recently picked up Space Mullet on your recommendation. It was awesome. Hey, good job, man. Glad you like it. Has it updated in a while? Do you guys know? I actually haven't tried to catch up at all. It's been a while since I've read it. Hey, Batfan, welcome, man. Hey, John, I notice you don't do a lot of panel breaking with the art, mostly the lettering. Is that a conscious decision, or do you not even notice it? It is a conscious decision. I'm scared by it sometimes, and other times I'm not. Mostly, I get scared by it because I've always heard like, just because you can, don't. Unless there's a reason. Like, in this page here, they're going to be breaking like right here. This is a weird one because I want this character here to be blocked in. You guys probably don't know what the hell I'm looking at. It looks like scribbles to you, but there's a character here punching the bad guy here, but I want this bad guy in whatever is around him here to break this panel. I do it from time to time. Like, let's see if we got another. I'll show you. But you are right. I don't do it too often. I enjoyed this one, right, where he's breaking off the panel. I don't like to break it off too much, like have too many panels that do that. One thing that I try to do anyway is try to be aware of like this guy here. I actually got a criticism, and I definitely should have done this, and I didn't see it at the time I was doing this, but I'll show you. If we pick like I don't know this color here, and it could have just put like a halo around him. I might do this if we ever do like the digital release where you guys can buy it or something. I'm gonna take like another pass. But that right there separates it, and it looks way better just by that one little freaking thing. But anyway, I remember my brother saying this one time in a design discussion we were having, and it stuck with me as well, for better or for worse, which is, if he was talking about a design I made where everything was bright. So he said, if everything's bright, nothing's bright. Meaning, if everything is something, then it can't be the other thing. So if in a comic book, if everything is action, then nothing's action because it's just annoying after a while. If everything's just talking, if everything's talking, and nothing else is to break that up, you miss out on the juicy part of surprising the reader into something else. Meaning, if I keep showing panels like this, hopefully, and again, I don't know if this is true or not, I assume it is for me, is that if I occasionally break the panel, then it means more. Like the reader's not used to seeing that, right? So if it's people talking, let's say it's 10 pages of talking, and the first panel on the next page, on page 11, is somebody just punching a dude in the face, it's going to feel more like, holy shit, because you've been... The pacing and the tempo and the beats have all been in a way. You've gotten used to it. It's like whenever you watch, let's say Game of Thrones. That's a great example. Game of Thrones, you're watching it, you're learning all these new characters. Great. And then main characters die. The first time a main character dies, you're like, holy shit. That surprises you. And then the second time it happens, you're like, okay, this can happen now. It wasn't a fluke. This is a real thing. And now, most people that watch Game of Thrones, I don't know if it's still like this, but a lot of people at the time were like, who's going to die this week, right? Like, it became a thing, so and I know I'm probably over explaining my thought process on why I just don't break characters out of panels just because they're attacking. That's the mindset I'm trying to the reasoning, I suppose, as to why I do that, for better or for worse, if you agree with me or you don't. Michael's saying what I agree with myself. You got to have lots. Sorry, you got to have this. You got to have special effects only once in a while, or it loses its impact. PJ saying main characters aren't supposed to die. Don't like someone in Game of Thrones because they're going to die. Someone's exactly, yeah. Sean saying I'm trying to stop breaking the panels nowadays myself. Okay. So Sean, why were you breaking panels? Were you breaking it just because like it looks cool? Like, it always looks cool. Don't get me wrong. I think if I could, not that I can't, but I would have like characters breaking out of panels all the time because it's sick. It's awesome. It has power to it. It's almost breaking the rule of the page. It's awesome. Such a cool tool to have. But so why were you doing it? Was it for that reason? It was just really cool all the time. Okay, so let me just sort of figure out here. We got some perspective issues. Panels within the characters. Hey, Jessup. How are you, Bobo? Okay. Well, Tyranny, how you doing? You're showing up as I'm wrapping this up. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna say thank you so much. It's good to have, well, have a stream that we haven't had one in so long. My God. I don't know how many streams we're gonna have. I want to get out of the, get back in the habit of being able to draw without streaming. I've noticed that I've become, I suppose, addicted in a way where the thought is, well, I'm just drawing. I can just stream. You're like, why wouldn't I stream while I'm drawing? The bad part of that's happened is if I don't stream, then I realize like I don't even have to draw. I know it sounds messed up. Before I wrap up here, Sean's just getting back there. I broke panels for the wrong reasons. It was just to make the overall design more dynamic and focus the viewer's attention. But I got crazy with it sometimes and coming up almost every... good stuff. But anyway, yeah. So we'll see how the streams are going and stuff. I would like to. I said this, and I don't even know if the videos are up yet. There's a bunch that are still waiting to be published that we did before, but it's the sped up videos again, more along the lines of going in back to like I'll record process and then I'll narrate over it. It's not too bad to do. It's pretty quick, but maybe stream like once or twice a week. That way I can still keep talk to you guys because I miss you guys. You guys always keep this stuff interesting, and it keeps me distracted from having to do the work. So that I think that's where the addiction part is kind of coming in. But other than that, we're going to keep rolling with the JESOP King stuff. The style is going to change a little bit. Like I said, we're going to get. I want to get the artwork just a little bit. Give it a little oomph, a little more maturity. We'll say. Excuse me. For multiple reasons that we talked about during the stream. If you're coming in a little late, the main reasons are some of the feedback I'm getting from editors at like Marvel DC, those places is they want to see more, and the story is going to pivot just a little bit. The theme, the plot, everything's staying the same, but I want to get it to be a little bit feeling a little bit more like this page right here, to me anyway, feels a lot more superhero-y because there's powers involved and a big muscle guy and stuff like that, right? These could be moloids from Mole Man for all we know, right? Like it still, in my opinion, feels superhero-y, and that I want to get more into that. And I think most people probably enjoy that as well. And hopefully the story is still pretty good. So anyway, I'm going to shut the hell up. I'm going to get out of here. Last thing, sorry. Somebody emailed me, and I apologize. The Venom piece still isn't done. I haven't put any time into it at all. I'll quickly show you guys where it's at. This is where we left it at. I believe it's just in the flats right now. Let me just check here. I would love to get this wrapped up early. What is June, July? Yeah, August already. Oh my God, early August, like first week of August is my goal to get this done, so that it's done, moved out of the way, and we can always make room for other ones as well. I can't. I'm looking at. I can't read this stuff. My brain's not reading it. Where is it? It's what are we? Prints. I'm looking at the wrong word. Prints. Do we still have one? Yeah, Venom right here. So we're at, where are we at right now? Flats? Let's take a look. It's almost done, really. Like the heavy lifting is already done. So again, I'm not sure about that the colors aren't final, but it's pretty much done, right? There's very little work left. The background, I have a couple ideas how I'm going to change this. Probably put some more buildings in there. And all that cool stuff. So this will get done fat quick. So I know some of you guys are interested in picking it up, and thank you so much for even having an interest in it. I appreciate it, and all that cool stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna get out of here. Shut up. I appreciate you guys' time. All that cool stuff. You guys always make this so enjoyable. I do appreciate all the questions, all that fun stuff. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, follow, all that stuff. If not, that's cool too. And if you're already following, please consider sharing it with your other art buddies and stuff. They might get a kick out of some of this. I don't know. Maybe, if you want. It's your call. Doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway, have a good night, you guys. Keep reading comics. Keep making comics. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.